This episode of Love Thy Neighbourhood is brought to you by FreeNow, the mobility super app. Like all kings, the King of London loves his luxuries. After a long day of editing the best magazine in the world, I long for creature comforts. I'm talking Xi'an impressions for dinner, MasterChef The Professionals on the telly, and best of all, staying out of the cold by booking myself a black cab all the way home via the FreeNow app. What can I say? The king likes his treaties. Feel free now.
I was with my friends and we had a full chicken, and a guy just leaned in and took the carcass in his hands and walked off with it.
The whole carcass?
The whole carcass.
Maybe he was going to go and make some stock.
I didn't know what he was doing.
Good afternoon, good evening, good whatever. My name's Joe Makatich, your avatar, your friend, the big dog of Time Out London, and you're listening to Love Thy Neighbourhood, the podcast in which someone so fresh and so clean shows me, a dirty boy, around part of London that means a lot to them. One location and 4 places within it that they would give their own 5-star rating to if they could. But of course they can't, because that's what we do at Time Out. When life gets confusing and tumultuous, we slip on a special pair of world-altering sunglasses which shows the universe for what it really is, almost like a sort of proto-form of AR, displaying 3, 4, 5 and no-star ratings of cafes, galleries, theatres, restaurants, you name it. That's right, it's a reference to the little-known but much-loved, in certain circles, They Live, starring rowdy Roddy Piper. And today, I speak to you from underneath the incredible structure that is the Hammersmith Flyover, because we are in Hammersmith, the part of London that sounds most like a German heavy metal band, if you had to choose. This place was basically a very sleepy fishing village for a long, long time, and it became a quaint riverside community of the type where you would send widowed queens to live out the rest of their days until they finally built London's first suspension bridge, Hammersmith Bridge, going across the river. And then it all changed. It became much more sort of normal, residential, business moved in. The River Cafe, eventually. The Games Workshop. Any area that can house both the River Cafe and the Games Workshop has to be an interesting place in my book. Also, the TV series Bottom was set here. My guest today, not noted for his Games Workshop army, but we might get onto that later. It is, of course, the very, very successful and interesting Jamie Laing. Jamie Laing, originally known as one of the sort of early cast members of reality TV Made in Chelsea, where he was known as the one that people seem to like more than the others, I would say. I remember that. 2012, he started the Candy Kittens empire, the very sort of Gen Z friendly vaporwave flavoured sweets that you see now in shops up and down the land. More recently, he was given the responsibility of being the drive time host of Radio 1's drive time show, Going Home, which is 4 p.m. most, if not all weekdays. I'll look into that. Looking forward to having a nice chat with him. I did actually mention him in the first trailer for this podcast last year, and then he had to unfortunately cancel that appearance. So for a long time, I've been living a lie. But today, we make that right, and we finally get Jamie Laing on Love Thy Neighbourhood. So we've just arrived at our first location. I'm going to go in and say hello. Jamie Laing, where are we and why have you brought me here?
So we are backstage at the Apollo. The reason why we're here is because I'm actually performing a show with my wife.
What?
Yeah, 2 nights at the Apollo on the 24th and 25th of April, which is called the Newlyweds Tour, which is insane because I grew up sort of around the corner. I grew up in Kensington, and my way of coming back in from school was coming over this flyover, and I always used to sort of look and I would see who was on at the Apollo. So since I was a kid, there's always these amazing artists, comedians, amazing people. And the fact that now we are, pretty much sold out the Apollo 2 nights in a row with my wife is insane. We now just got to write the show, and then we'll be okay, which is in a month.
You don't really. You've sold the tickets.
Yeah, you don't. Just take their money.
Take the money and run.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I have this new thing at the moment. Like I just had it with you, which is where you're sitting across from me, right? And I was thinking, if I leant over and just kissed you, that would be weird. And in my head, it's such a strong tick
Right.
that almost I'm like, I'm actually going to do it. But obviously, I never do it.
Well, I think the kids call those intrusive thoughts now.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had
What
a
do the
friend,
adults call them?
just urges, just good old-fashioned red-blooded urges.
Yeah.
But I had a friend who suffered from the exact same thing with the exact same tick years ago.
Yeah.
15 years ago, would often complain about interviewing people who was, you know, celebrities and things like that. And he would just have this voice in his head saying, kiss them the whole time, no matter who they were.
It distracts you.
It distracted him and stuff. And that's why he never really made it as a journalist.
I was interviewing Elizabeth Day, who is the author and podcaster, on stage last night. And firstly, I started thinking that I was looking at her on stage and it was a lot of people in the audience. And I was thinking I'm blinking too much. So then I started thinking about blinking while she was talking. So I wasn't listening to anything she was saying. And then I thought, imagine if I just fainted. And then I almost spoke myself into fainting. And I was like, and so I got a bit, I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't say anything. I just, outside, I was like a duck.
Right.
Completely calm. Oh, underneath it, I was honestly treading waters.
Yeah, the legs are going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Speaking of amazing acts, you know Freddie Mercury. Here's the thing for you. This is what I found out the other day. Freddie Mercury and Queen sang a song, "We Are the Champions."
I know it.
The reason he got the melody, the way he got the melody from that was he was teased in the playground, and he got the melody from na 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 na. That's why it's "We Are the Champions."
So he's laughing in the bullies' faces.
Correct.
All the way to the bank.
There you go.
And I assume you've got a few things that you can throw in your former bullies' faces as well, in the form of the very successful Candy Kitten Sweets, which I have to say thank you, because the wonderful neighbor I have, Louise, who dog sits my hairy, fat son, Cronus, I was never able to pay her because I'm a poverty-stricken skinflint. But what I was able to do was basically fob her off with loads and loads of Candy Kitten Sweets because she loves them.
Yeah.
So I feel like a special debt of gratitude towards you for creating them in the first place.
Well, I think that it goes both ways, because you are creating awareness for the sweet brand. Yeah, so Candy Kittens is my sweet brand. It's a vegan confectionery brand that I started with my business partner in 2012. We were like 21 and 22 years old. And the way that I got into it, right, was, as a kid, I was really hectic. Like you crying all the time, wanting, throwing tantrums. One would probably say sort of ADHD all over the place. And I was never allowed sweets, because if I had sweets, it would make me way too hyper. So I was only allowed one on Sundays.
A single sweet?
A single boiled sweet from a jar.
Wow.
Yeah, it was up on the top shelf where I couldn't reach it. So I always had this fascination. And then when I was 18 years old, I went to New York, came across a place called Dylan's Candy Bar, which is Ralph Lauren daughter's Dylan and Loren sweet shop. It's an amazing place, like the Harrods of sweet shops, had them all around the US. I said, I want to replicate that in the UK. Went back to the UK, and over the next couple of years, started thinking about it, went to retail spots and realized that actually creating a sweet shop is unbelievably expensive. I met my business partner.
Also, a little bit, it just sounds a bit sus.
Yeah, it sounds a bit creepy and a bit weird.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy. It was definitely leaning towards the creepy side. And I met my business partner, a guy called Ed Williams, who was a designer from Loughborough University. And he said, let's not make a sweet shop, let's do packets of sweets. And then 13 years later, we are here in the Apollo.
Yeah.
And I have loads of fillings. And we're the fastest selling sweet company in Europe, which is amazing.
I was going to ask as well, with the design of the Candy Kittens, they seemed to be very, very ahead of their time in terms of creating a Gen Z vibe. But at the time, was that like a very conscious decision, or was it kind of almost, not luck, but...
I think a lot of it's luck.
Yeah.
Isn't most things luck?
I suppose so, yeah.
But maybe not. Chess isn't luck.
No, chess isn't luck. If you try and play chess just through blind luck,
you're not going to
an agent of chaos. Although maybe if you played someone who was really good and they thought you were really good, you could sort of just like shock them into paralysis just by playing action chess, basically, where you're not really thinking about it, and just maintain eye contact with them the whole time.
Not even look at the board.
Not even look at the board.
Don't look at. That's the tactic I'm going to do.
Well, I was thinking that like Candy Kittens and stuff, very, very zeitgeisty of the moment. But have you ever considered maybe a trad version just called Sugar Cats? And they're aimed at maybe boomers or older.
Oh, yeah.
Sugar Cats, and it's, ham and mustard flavor.
Yeah, I love that. Branston pickle.
Yeah, Branston pickle would be good.
And cheese.
Tallow. A tallow flavored
What's a
sweet.
tallow?
I think tallow's just fat. A tallow Sugar Cat. And the branding could just be very sort of old and sort of pompous looking, like an
Just
old
cats.
pub. Just like old fat cats.
Do you know what? I don't know if it would sell. I once tried to make a gummy sweet covered in chocolate. And I went and got the chocolate, melted it, and put my gummy sweet in it, and then put it in the freezer.
Didn't work?
Didn't sell. Didn't go for it.
Yeah. But you've got to experience failure to really know what a success is.
You really have to, because once you taste that failure, all you want is a success. Do you believe in manifestation?
In what way?
Just in general.
What, like if I want something to happen and I sort of, in a very Noel Edmonds way, like do this sort of what's it called? Universal organization or something, where he writes letters.
Yeah.
And then those things happen.
Yeah.
Is that manifestation?
That's sort of a manifestation, or the fact that you really believe that you want to achieve something and you put it out into the universe hoping that the universe will help you achieve it. It doesn't stop hard. That kind of manifestation.
I suppose
Noel Edmonds can help you if you want.
I believe that everyone just sort of enjoys being around people who are a bit can-do and optimistic in general. If you're trying to create something within a company or within a group of friends, you're going to enjoy doing that with people who sort of want it to work and be successful as well, irrespective of how likely that is to happen.
Yeah.
So maybe it's possible to see those people as manifesting, I don't know, because they're kind of looking into the future and striving for success as opposed to dwelling on the fact the whole thing's a disaster.
What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were younger?
Well, at the very beginning, it was toy maker.
Love that.
Yeah, toy maker was the one, but I dropped that. I didn't really have any idea of what I wanted to do, so much so that when I first became a magazine editor, I sort of realized, I've become a magazine editor. I sort of did it by accident almost. And actually, I have a weird connection with you in that when I first started, one of my first writing jobs was at Heat magazine.
Was it really?
Yeah, and so that
You gave me Torso of the Week.
I might have done, yeah. Although I was probably too junior to make those sorts of decisions.
Because they are big decisions.
They are. For Heat, they were big decisions. But it was definitely exactly at the time that Made in Chelsea and programs like it had just started.
Yeah.
It was the beginning of that.
Yeah.
And I think I had this, I was too sort of young and naive to understand what was really going on. But I think within that magazine world and the world of TV, it was like, well, let's just create our own celebrities who don't do something else. Like, they're not there to promote a film. They're not there. We don't have to go through a film PR to get to them. Let's canoodle with, Cannes Associates or people like that, just to sort of like, almost like in a Petri dish.
Wow.
Create people who we have access to all the time, which maybe is why the stress of it is quite a lot, because it's like an always on thing, I assume. Obviously, I've never been part of anything like that.
Yeah.
But it was like, what if we just make our own famous people and just tell people these people are famous? And it sort of worked.
What makes a good editor?
I would say it's knowing a little about a lot. Just being like kind of interested in what everyone is up to, but knowing the limits of your own knowledge and experience, so that when you do come across someone who's a theatre expert or a food expert, you step aside and let them do what they're doing.
I feel like that's what TikTok does for us.
You reckon?
Yeah, because TikTok, everyone who consumes TikTok feels like they know a little bit about something.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with it, right? Is that you get this little snapshot or 30 seconds or a minute or about, I don't know, Biden, and suddenly you think you're an expert in Biden.
Superficial internet knowledge is a dangerous thing, because
isn't it?
Everyone's been down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. But what I would say in TikTok's defense, because someone's got to stand up for the People's Republic of China.
Yeah, 100%.
I think a lot of the people on it, they do have actual knowledge about stuff. Like the people who are doing cooking on it, or the people that are doing sort of DIY stuff. They are like, and what's quite nice
but that's why we step aside and let the real people do it, right?
Yeah, and often it's kind of without a lot of the glitz and glamour, which is cool, I think. Like Instagram, everyone got so numb to the perfection of like, the sort of filters and the lights and the lushness of it. TikTok, I think, was really built on the back of kind of like well, in this country anyway, sort of grim reality and like humor, like, you know, which are great sort of like British qualities, really.
But then it gets ruined though slightly because it's like with bands, right? Like you always say it with any band. What happens with bands is they start off doing one thing, they get super successful, and it all goes to shit,
Yes.
right? Because you forget what you were originally there for. And I think that's what happens with social media platforms is that they lose what they originally were meant to be there for.
Yeah, well, they become quite dangerous things, obviously, and everyone has opinions on which ones are good and which ones are bad. But I think there's a sort of consensus now that, like, no one should be spending too much time on any of them because you, the human being, becomes the product. You know, it's your habits and your data which is making someone else rich, basically, or a lot of other people rich.
Just quickly before we go, what is the greatest act that you've ever seen at the Apollo?
Sean Locke, the comedian Sean Locke.
Wow, I seen Sean Locke at the Apollo.
He was so good. I was brought there by a friend who really knows his comedy, John Talbot, and he said, "Oh, you've got to see this guy." And I was a bit like, well, I know he's on panel shows. I'm not so fussed about that kind of panel show stuff. But he was so much better than I expected.
Was he amazing?
Amazing. Really, really amazing. And it wasn't because he was quote unquote like really dark. He wasn't sort of overly kind of cynical. He was just an amazing comedian that was at the top of his craft. Like just the stage presence, the
Really?
delivery was phenomenal. Yeah. Well,
And-
how about you? Like what have you seen here?
Well, I've been to Live the Apollo quite a few times, and I love that. I've seen McIntyre, I think, here as well, which was just amazing. Sean Locke, Live at the Apollo was... Everything just felt effortless.
Yeah, really effortless.
Like he
yeah.
was just making it up as he went along.
Yeah, the best thing you can say about a comedian is the audience is immediately comfortable in their presence because the audience knows they're not going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Like the audience relaxes because they think I'm in the presence of an expert of comedy who is just going to make this easy for us.
That is the opposite of my show.
That's the opposite of what's going to happen. A whole audience of very angsty people.
I want people to feel uncomfortable and anxious and they don't know what's going to happen.
Well, you could threaten to kiss them all immediately, which is what you did for me.
That would work.
Yeah. We should probably move on now to as much fun as I'm having. We should crack on to our next location. We can keep chatting on the way.
Can we chat on the way?
We can chat on the way, yeah. We're just walking outside of the Apollo now, and there's people queuing. If you had to guess who might be playing based on the look of the queue...
I think they saw us go in.
Oh, they think they're queuing for us?
I think they're queuing for us.
They're queuing for your live show. They're going to be there for a while. They'll have the K-pop fans who...
They're going to be there for a month.
Yeah, I mean, I live near the O2 Academy in Angel, and those fans, they know how to queue. I think
really?
they fetishize the idea of like.
But how long
being
do
at
they
the-
queue for?
Like you're talking like at least a day, like through the night, just so they can be there like right at the front. And they have all their sort of like sleeping bags and their sort of cuddly toys and things like that.
They wait there for nights?
Yes, yeah, they wait
No, get outta
overnight.
here.
Yeah, and I've seen that at the Union Chapel as well. Although I think when I saw
I
it,
performed at the Union Chapel.
Did you?
Yeah, which
What
is an
a-
amazing venue.
Oh, what a place! What a
Yeah.
place! What were you doing there?
We did our first show, Nillywed show. We only did one night, and it was at the Union Chapel. Have you ever been to a podcast show before? Have you been to a podcast?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and which one was it?
It was a friends podcast called Wrestle Me, and it was in.
Oh, I know
King's-
I think I know Wrestle Me.
It's a very good podcast.
Yeah, very good
A friend
podcast.
called Pete Donaldson does that one.
So, but I imagine they would just sat down or stood up and just talked on stage, right?
Yes,
Oh,
in
see.
silly costumes.
See, ours is so much more. Ours is so much more. So we actually create a show
Right.
because I sort of think the audience want more. So
Do you feel like you're shortchanging them
I
a
think
bit?
a little bit.
Yeah.
So I like to, against my wife's opinion, I like to create a whole show. So we actually have written scripts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so ours is sort of scripted, and we have different dance acts, and we have a big surprise. In the London show, we have a huge surprise at the end.
Is it? I mean, if I keep guessing and I get it right, would you eventually tell me?
There is no way you'll get it right. There was no ways you would get it right.
It's not like it doesn't involve nudity of any kind.
No, none of that.
Water cannons,
No, nothing like that.
holograms.
No, nothing like that.
Okay, well I give up. Those are the three
Yeah,
things.
you were close with no.
But we have just arrived at our second location. Do you want to say where we are?
Okay, so this is Crisp. Is this Crisp? This is Crisp.
This is Crisp.
This is renowned to be the best pizzas in London.
It is.
I have actually never had a pizza from Crisp, even though my office is literally around the corner.
Oh my God, this is very exciting. Me neither. And it's dereliction of duty for me to say that as the editor of Time Out, because, you know, for about a year, all I've heard is crisp this, crisp that, but
So-
never had the opportunity before.
So
we're
now
both
it's
gonna
time to... What are you going to go for?
you know what? For me, the order is always the same. It's
Yeah.
always a margarita, because that's the purest distillation of what a pizza is. They're not going to be able to hide behind bells and whistles,
Yeah.
hot honey or any of that. Like,
I like hot honey.
well, you're getting distracted by peripheral stuff. I think that the actual pizzaness of a pizza is right there in the basil. It's right there in the mozzarella and the tomato sauce.
Do you know why a margarita is a margarita?
No.
It's because it matches the Italian flag.
Is it? Like the ice cream as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's take a seat.
I'm so excited to try this.
Yes, me too. Well, in a previous episode with Sipa, MC Grinder from People Just Do Nothing, he spoke at length about this place.
I've interviewed him. He's great.
A great guy, very funny, lovely guy, but he also arrogantly takes sole credit for this place's popularity because of
Really?
his Taste Cadets side hustle. They came here, I think, spoke about it very early doors.
Yeah.
And I think even the bloke who runs the operation gives him credit as well.
Who is the most interesting person you've ever interviewed?
Oh, well, there's been a few. A long time ago, I interviewed Usain Bolt when he was at the height of his fame.
Wow.
And he wasn't really interesting, but it was interesting to be around someone who was, at that moment, the most famous person in the world.
I was in a nightclub with him
Really?
when he had just won the 100 meters and got the gold. I was there watching him when he won the 100 meters. And it was... Do you know what's funny? He's the sort of 100-meter champions. You've always had, like... My era was like Maurice Green and like Justin Gatlin and people like that. But Usain Bolt was just a different kettle of fish.
A different kettle of fish, yeah. And he seems, when I met him, I don't know how you found him to be in the nightclub, but he was quite like, almost like childlike in a
Yeah.
way. I think maybe he kept all of his marbles by just being sort of not really that engaged with all of the kind of like fuss around him.
Yeah.
He liked playing Call of Duty a lot and chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
I think were the two main things I remember about him as an
He
individual.
loved chicken nuggets.
He
that
really
was-
loved those chicken nuggets, yeah.
But I think it happens a lot with people who have a lot of stuff done for them.
Okay.
And I think if you're incredibly successful in an early age, I think you end up not having that much stuff that you have to do yourself.
Like child actors and things like that.
Well, Tom Holland talks about it, where he didn't even realise he had to pay a water bill because he had just never done that before, or he didn't know how to do just everyday stuff because
Yeah.
he just never had to do it.
I wonder if there's a special division of HMRC who just investigate formerly famous actors who don't know what a council tax bill is.
I reckon Macaulay Culkin is fucked.
Yeah, probably, yeah. They all go to prison, don't they, at some point? But it is true, like, you do always hear these stories where it's just like, and then it turned out I owed $3 million to the government.
What? I can't just spend it?
No, apparently not. But no, yeah, you're probably right about that, like people just doing stuff for you the whole time.
I think that's what happens.
When you sort of went into business and stuff like that, did you sort of take pride in being very hands-on yourself and sort of doing things for yourself?
Well, I think I was quite lucky. I had my stepfather is a guy called Jonathan Baines, who everyone sort of just ignored what my business partner Ed and I were doing with Candy Kittens because they just thought, well, why the hell is this ever going to work? It's
Yeah.
a sweet company. And Jonathan, my stepfather, was the only person who took interest in it. And he is a headhunter, or was a headhunter. He worked in the city. He had a very sort of finance background. But he couldn't quite work out why people were interested in this brand Candy Kittens. They
Yeah.
just couldn't work it out. And he thought, well, people are definitely interested in it because people were buying T-shirts and things like that from our website. We had no sweets at this point. And he was the person to basically take control and start making us treat like it was a proper business.
Yeah.
So he taught me what a P&L was and taught me that apparently like profit is different to net. And so he was the one who taught me all that kind of stuff, which without a doubt was fundamental in our success because I think I'm a good entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think I've learned to be an okay businessman.
Yeah.
But I think you need the combination of the two to really work.
Oh,
Oh, here
thank
we
you
go.
so much.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much.
Right, the other ones are just coming up.
That is so kind.
Oh,
Thank you.
cheers.
Hot honey and some dip.
He does.
Yes, please. I would love all of that. Thank you very much.
That looks great. The crisp pizza has just arrived. It's a Marg, or a Joe Special,
Or
as I call them.
the Italian flag.
The Italian flag as well.
I've got to take a photo of this,
Because
right?
look, the flavour has nowhere to hide, you see. It's just the pure margarita
So,
flavour.
wait, hang on. Give me this for a second. So, what things should you just eat totally plain? Not plain, but you shouldn't spoil it with anything else, like anything.
Good bread and butter.
depends what butter.
Yeah, I'm saying salted butter, room temperature salted butter.
Great shout.
There's also something to be said for very, very well cooked pasta with just sort of butter, and maybe melted anchovies mixed in there, but you are getting essentially like the texture of the pasta to enjoy that, and salted pasta properly.
Do you know what I found out recently?
What?
Gnocchi is potato.
Yeah, something's happened to it though, isn't it?
What's happened to it?
I think they've sort of pounded it into a sort of putty, isn't it?
I don't know what they've done to that.
Yeah, as a kid I like gnocchi, but I've sort of gone off it now.
And then the second thing I found out, gherkins are cucumbers.
What's happened to them?
Been pickled.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Which one's that? Picante, cool.
You've got to try your margarita.
I will try the margarita. Well, we'll pick up gnocchi with our bare hands if necessary after this delicious crisp pizza, but we'll report back as well because a lot of people are interested in how good these pizzas are. They are the pizza of the moment, so I'm going to let you know.
I totally agree.
As the editor of Time Out, I don't have time for romantic relationships or even meaningful friendships. The one true love of my life is and will always be the great city of London. Every day is a waiting game until I can get out there and be with my grimy, smog-charred beloved again. And traffic needn't keep us apart. Via the magic of Free Now, I can order a black cab, meaning I'm cruising along to my destination via the bus lane and being rewarded with a handsome Guinness on my timely arrival. That's right, I was going to the pub. Taxis and more at the tap of an app. Feel free now. Well, I have to say that Sipa, who said this was the best pizza in London, was very, very certain of that. And
Do you think he's right?
yes, I do.
That was so confident.
Yes. Well, if there's one thing I know, I reckon it's pizza these days.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think I've done them all. This was the sort of missing piece of the puzzle.
I thought that was some random person eating the rest of our pizza, and
It is just the producer.
then I realised it was the producer just eating it as we were going.
I wouldn't blame any random for just
I actually had
rocking
that
up.
once before.
What, someone eating off your plate?
I was in Oxford, and we went to KFC, and which is Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't know if you know.
I've
And
heard of it.
You've heard of it. I was with my friends, and we had a full chicken, which was a full chicken in the middle of the table, right?
Yeah.
And we had sort of half finished it.
It's
but-
not common to go to KFC and get a whole,
Yeah.
a sort of entire bird.
The entire bird, right? It was just sort of sitting in the middle of the table, and the table was inside, but the window, there was no glass, so you could lean in. And we were finishing our food, and we were leaning back, and we looked like we finished. And a guy who I'm assuming was drunk, but he didn't look that drunk, just leaned in and took the carcass in his hands and walked off with it.
The whole carcass?
The whole carcass.
Maybe he was going to go and make some stock.
I don't know what he was doing, but it was pretty weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sort of serves you right for ordering an entire chicken at KFC.
I
which
don't
is
think that
quite-
serves me right at all. For the guy to lean in and take the whole carcass.
No, he was also, I'd say, in the wrong. I should mention as well, by the way, with Crisp Pizza, the Chancellor Pub is the name of the pub that it's operating out of. And the guy that started it did so during lockdown, became really obsessed with mastering the sort of New York slice and the type of dough that they use and the way that the crust is all crispy, hence the name. But yeah, Chancellor Pub, I didn't want to forget that as we walk away from it.
But apparently the road is called Crisp.
And the road is called Crisp.
So
yeah.
the big question is, it's like the chicken and the egg story,
Yes.
right? Did he name it Crisp after the street or after the crispiness of the pizza?
Or was it just a sort of convenient confluence of things? Happenstance.
Is that happenstance?
Happenstance? That's happenstance.
Happenstance. What's your favourite word?
Oh.
Shall I tell you mine?
Yes, go ahead.
Crambazzled.
What does that mean?
Means weathered.
Weathered. Yeah, that's good. I tell you, I quite like obstreperous.
Oh, that is a good word. Obstreperous.
Obstreperous is
Obstreperous.
kind of grumpy and bad-natured. What was yours again?
Crambazzled.
Crambazzled sounds good. It sounds a little bit Roald Dahl.
It does.
It sounds like something the BFG might eat.
It does sound like that. So where are we off to next?
Well, that's your decision,
Oh, it
not
is.
mine.
Oh yeah, forgot.
Well, we have sort of rocked up to our third location, which is a sort of ambient location that neither begins nor ends.
Yeah.
Do you want to say where we are?
We are on the border of Hammersmith and Barnes. We've just left Crisp Pizza. We're on the river overlooking Hammersmith Bridge, which is a transport bridge, but only for humans and bikes. And
Right.
it used to be for cars, but in fact they haven't done it because the council and somebody else are in a dispute who should fix it. And it was 40 million quid to fix it. It's now gone to 110 million, so they don't think it's ever going to be fixed.
So this will just be a very expensive footbridge.
Yeah, a very expensive footbridge. But actually, members of the public in Barnes are pretty furious because loads of them have work and jobs and things like that.
Yeah.
And they now have to spend 40 minutes getting round.
You don't want to make the people of Barnes furious.
I would just get a little dinghy.
A ferry to go back and forth across here.
Why don't they just do that?
Yeah, like in sort of Cornwall where you get those...
I would just go to that little thing there and then just go back every day.
I don't know what sort of fitness, what state of fitness
Incredibly
you're
fit.
in. Incredibly fit.
Incredibly
How
fit.
far, in all seriousness, looking at this strong current, how far do you reckon you could get before your body failed and you were just swept away? Do you think you could make it to the other end, realistically? It's a
Yes.
lot further than it looks.
Are you kidding me? You don't... I reckon if push came to shove, I reckon I could swim the channel.
The whole thing.
I reckon if I really went for it, I reckon if I had to go for it, I reckon I could.
I think I would perish.
Would you?
Yes, I think I would
But why do you
perish.
think that way?
I just think my body has never swum that far before. So unless I really thought that like my whole family was going to die unless I got to the other end, I reckon my body would just give up.
Do you think you lean towards the side of being pessimistic rather than optimistic?
Well, I really hope that I am an optimist because I think professionally I have to be. I think it's good in life to strive for good things, for things to happen.
Yeah.
But I think privately inside, like with all journalists,
Yeah.
there's a sort of awful, cringing pessimist that I think is kept under lock and key most of the time.
But is that because as a journalist, whenever you speak to people and write a profile on individuals, you always think that they're hiding something as well?
Well, that could be it. It's also just the type of people that are drawn towards certain professions, I think. You know, if you meet a load of people who sort of work in like banking, there are like prevalent character types, aren't there, that
Yeah.
recur over and over again. Law is the same. And journalism it sort of attracts the melancholy type, I would say,
Yeah.
very often, but to different degrees. You know, my girlfriend's mum, very smart person, has a theory that all humans are either radiators or drains.
Yes.
Which is quite a brutal way to look at the world.
Yes.
You seem like a very natural radiator.
I don't know. Maybe I would like to think I am.
Yes,
But I don't
yeah.
know. I think I am. I think I'm pretty positive quite all the time.
Yes.
But that can be quite frustrating.
I suppose because of your TV experience, you're kind of like able to just turn it on, you know, in front of a camera if you need to. Whereas like for the majority of people, they're not asked to do that really ever. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're not, you know, unless you're in a band or something and you go on stage and you've got to sort of like be angry or be happy or something. You don't really ever have to like put on a front. A little bit of work maybe. But with you were filmed a huge amount. And then obviously podcast stuff, radio stuff, it's a lot of presenting to the world, isn't it? Were there moments where the sort of outgoing version of you and the sort of inward version of you were very, very different?
Here we go. That is a big question.
Yes.
I like that one. So, yeah, I think what happens when you first start doing entertainment, especially reality TV, is that you start playing a version of yourself. Because, especially if you do it when you're young, we all think that our authentic self isn't good enough, right? And that's why we all battle with self-confidence and different things like that. And so I think that coupled with doing reality TV, you start playing a version of yourself. And when you start playing a version of yourself and that is received positively, either being funny or loud or energetic, whatever it is, you then lean into that more. So you become that person. And the problem with becoming that person is you becoming authentic to yourself. And therefore that leads to, you know, feeling anxious or feeling a certain way. And I think I definitely lent into that at the beginning, that I was always very loud, always very energetic, all those sorts of things. But doing reality TV for so long, I thought I had to be energetic and loud all the time. And then you realise that actually you probably don't have to be that way. And actually it's okay if you're not the loudest in the room or the funniest in the room or the silliest in the room and all those sorts of things. And then
Yes.
you become your authentic self.
Well, I was also going to say that it's quite remarkable that someone who does seem like very, very personable, well-adjusted, lovely guy as you are, did go through the boarding school thing and the reality TV thing back to back, and you came out the other side pretty all right. You know what I mean? That's quite rare, I would say.
Do you know what? You're so right. I mean, boarding school thing definitely leads to lots of... I went to boarding school at 8 years old.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I mean, I wouldn't know, but from the outside, I would say, yeah, crazy.
It's crazy. You know, like in some cultures, you know, your young sleep with you until they're like 12 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I was just sent off to boarding school at 8, and my parents especially my mum was so distraught about sending me there that she didn't actually even tell me where I was going. Just went and did it. So that was confusing for sure, because what you do is you don't let any emotion out, so you keep it all in, right? So you never show emotion. And I think that's why I'm not very good at sometimes showing emotion. But then going into reality TV as well, that was quite a lot. The other problem with it is that I went from boarding school to university to reality TV, where I was always in like a big tribe all the time. Boarding school, you were together with these guys.
Yes.
I was at all boys boarding school, 24/7 all year. Then at university, you're with your friends all the time. And then reality TV is another tribe, you're together all the time. So then when we got to about 27, 28, and you're not, people are getting married or doing different jobs or whatever, you get that thing where you're like, hang on a second, I haven't really learned anything about the world.
Did you have a who am I moment?
Oh my God, big time.
Yes.
27.
What was your conclusion when you asked who am I?
I more sort of realised what makes you happy. And what I realised is actually what makes you happy is connections, family, being trustworthy, and actually ultimately love. And what doesn't make you happy is some sort of fame or some sort of wealth or some sort of power. All that stuff doesn't matter. Being famous is really exciting and fun for lots of different reasons, but it's really useful when you're a movie star or a comedian or a musician, because you sell things. When you're a reality star, you're not selling anything, so you're just famous, which actually is a negative in life, I think, right? Because if you're just famous for being a reality star, it's quite hard to then go and reinvent yourself in any other way.
Yes.
So you have to lean into that quite a lot. And I definitely think that doing reality TV is heavy on the soul. And
What do you mean by that?
Well, reality TV's currency is drama. So the more drama you're creating, the better it is.
Yeah.
And as we all know, creating drama and having arguments or cheating or whatever it is really heavy for you on the soul. It really is. It breaks you down.
Yeah, I suppose you as a character become like a sort of emotional focus point for the cast, for the crew, for the production, everything. It's like we need to make this person angry or jealous
Completely.
or sad.
That's completely it. The problem is that we are literally a commodity, right? We are as reality stars. You are there to sell advertisement, so a production company and a channel can make money, and they will
make it sound so romantic.
Yeah, and they will sell you any way they possibly can.
Yeah.
You become a product to them.
Well, we've just rocked up outside of our fourth and final location, and it's lovely. Do you want to say where we are?
It's the Blue Anchor.
It is the Blue Anchor pub.
It is a pub on the Hammersmith River bank, and we're going to sit here and talk some more, I guess, right?
Sounds good. Well, let's go on in.
Let's go. I've actually stopped drinking at the moment.
Okay, a lot of people that I work with who are young don't really drink at all.
Really?
What was it's a thing now. Like, what were your reasons for knocking it on the head?
I think because I've started radio, I have my podcast, I have a production company and my sweet business. I have a lot going on, and I feel that I have a lot to answer all the time, and so I felt that like drinking was becoming too much of a distraction.
Yeah.
But alcohol lingers a few days, and I think
it's a depressant, isn't it?
Yeah, dude, it lingers, man. And I honestly think my decision making is not so good. Like I'm good at some things, but when I have to make a decision, I'm not very definite on it. And boozing sort of stopped me from being more like.
Yes, well, it does. It clouds your decision making process and stuff, and I think it does provide a lot of like self doubt as well.
Yes.
There's that thing of being hungover and just the world seeming like a very sort of hostile place where everyone's out to get you. It's not a good frame of mind, I imagine, for someone selling sweets. But we've not actually discussed the Radio 1 job at all. And this was your first week, is that right?
I've done 2 weeks now.
2 weeks, okay.
2 weeks. Yeah, dude, it's wild. Radio 1 is interesting, right? Because I do a podcast with my friend called Spencer, and we do a podcast with BBC Sounds. The reason why I did that is because I wanted to get on Radio 1. I went and did a trial for it 8 years ago, and the response was, you're just too posh.
Right.
It doesn't quite work. And I went, okay, fine. And so I realised that. And so I realised somehow to have to get in the back way into radio. And so I did the podcast. Podcast became successful on BBC Sounds. And because it became successful on BBC Sounds, they started giving me trials on Radio 1. Molly King, who works with Matt Emerson, went on maternity leave, and they asked me to step in for it. So I stepped in to do the show on the weekend with Matt, and it was great. So there's something about live which is just amazing. And then
You sort of gave them no choice but to employ you.
100%. As I do with most things. Like with my wife, I gave her no choice apart from marrying me. Then they gave me the opportunity to do it, and I said, okay, let's do it. And so now I'm doing the radio, 3:30, I think the time is, till 6. That is the time.
Do you get schooled on like what to do on air with the live thing if you get like a disastrous person calling in? Are you told to like look out for certain things in the
No,
voice?
not at all. They just go with it, which
Wow.
is quite fun. I love the
Well,
idea.
we could sort of role play some disaster calls.
Done, let's go.
To see how you'd react.
All right.
So I'm calling up.
Well, ring.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Jamie!
Hello. Who is that?
It's Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay. Hello, Jesus Christ. Where are you calling from?
Bethlehem.
Oh, Bethlehem, that's a far call. I hope you have good credit.
Listen, I've phoned up to talk about the return of me to society. I'd like to use Radio 1 as a platform to
Great.
spread the word about sort of what I'm going to be doing when I sort of cross the seas, come to the UK. Is that okay? Can I spend 15 or 20 minutes monologuing?
Do you know what? I would say that we don't have 15 or 20 minutes, but I can give you 10 seconds. Is 10 seconds a good enough time?
Yeah,
How would you sell it to me in 10 seconds?
Turn the other cheek. You can't go through the eye of a needle on a camel. I think that's one of them. Thanks for the opportunity. I think I've got my message across.
That was Jesus Christ calling in from Bethlehem, and now it's Beyonce.
Whoa.
There we go. It was seamless, wasn't it? That was seamless.
That was like being in the company of a really polished
broadcast
professional, yeah. And it looked like a little bit like I was crying at the end there.
I thought you methoded into it.
Well, no, it's the wind. The cold wind brought on a tear to my eye.
And weirdly, you look a little bit like Jesus.
Oh, well, thank you. That's nice. It's nice.
Just
than some of the other
your
things I've been
aura
called.
is like...
Really?
Yeah.
Christ-like aura. That's nice. I'll take that. That's nice. Well, in any case, at this point in the proceedings, we drift away from discussions of the returning Christ and talk about London in general. Things that you like, things that you would give your own 5-star rating to, if you could.
Love this.
So, with no further ado, first question.
Yeah.
Apart from this fine establishment, what is your 5-star pint and where are you having it?
There's a pub in Notting Hill. It's called The Pelican, and it's on All Saints Road. I know the guy who runs it and owns it, and he's done a phenomenal job with it, and it's a great place to have a pint. So I'm going to say The Pelican.
Yeah, under threat at the moment.
Why?
It's the same old story as per usual. It's like a load of residents who
Hate
have like
it.
moved in, and they're complaining about noise and things like that, which is a common
Always
occurrence
happens.
in London. But like
Because it's become too popular.
too popular. Yeah, it happened to the Compton Arms, which is a great pub, North London, which I can proudly say I was part of saving it. But it's happening to the Pelican now as well. So
The Pelican's great. It shouldn't happen. It's
yeah,
great.
pubs are important for people.
Totally. Pubs create tribes, and you need to go there, especially for men. It's a great place for men to connect.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I agree. Yeah, as is the Garrick Club.
Yes.
So I hear. What is your 5-star tourist attraction?
Ooh, London Dungeons.
Amazing.
I honestly, I still to this day remember the first time I ever went there, and it was just the greatest.
Okay.
I just love it. I would say London Dungeons, 100%.
Do you know how many people have said London Dungeons?
Loads.
As it is the most popular answer to this question by such a wide margin.
That's boring. Maybe I should go with something else.
No, it's a good thing. Everyone always gets very apologetic when they say something that other people have said, but it's a nice consensus. What is it about the Dunge that you enjoy so much?
I think we're all sadistic at heart in some sort of way, so actually having a look at all the tortures is actually quite interesting.
Do you have a 5-star burger?
Ooh, I'm going to go for my friend Joe Grossman, owns a restaurant called Patty and Bun.
Okay, yeah.
And do you know what? Just to be loyal to him, I'm going to go for Patty and Bun.
That's a good choice. Patty and Bun was, I'd say, a very, very early leader
Yeah.
in what is now like the sort of, it's what everyone expects from a burger these days,
Totally.
the sort of sloppiness and the fact it's kind
Totally.
of compressed.
Yes.
Yeah, good choice.
Totally. So Patty and Bun, that's the one I'm going to go for.
Do you have a 5-star park?
Oh,
A green space.
5-star park. I'm going to go for Hyde Park.
Hyde Park, yeah.
Or Holland Park.
Holland Park has not been chosen
I like
on this
Holland
podcast
Park.
before. Yeah, Holland Park is nice. Nice swings for kids.
Nice swings, playground, great place to play football. I grew up playing football there. I'm going to go for Holland Park.
Yeah.
I love it.
Also, Holland Park fans will know.
Park fans.
Yeah, the Holland heads out
Yeah,
there will know
yeah.
that it is the scene of a sort of a bi-monthly, I think, bulldog meetup.
Is it really?
Yes, and it's the most insane thing that you've ever seen or heard, because what 40 bulldogs in the same place sounds like isn't something the human ear
That
is
is
meant
so
to hear.
funny.
It's incredible. It's just like all this honking and oinking and growling. It's if you ever get a chance to go along,
I'm gonna do that.
You are allowed to just go and hang out with all these bulldogs, and they just charge about like mad.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, and it kind of turns the field they're in into this like chewed up, muddy wasteland.
I can't
immediately.
wait.
It's great. Yeah,
That's amazing. I like that a
bulldog
lot.
meetup. Yeah.
I like that.
Do you have a 5-star cup of coffee?
5-star cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee.
A tea? A matcha?
I know. I drink a tea, and I really like a Lapsang Souchong or an Earl Grey.
The everyman.
The everyman. I'm gonna go for my local in Notting Hill. It's called Sally Clark.
Okay.
And I've met Sally Clark, the lady, and she's so lovely. And I like Sally Clark so much that my wife's nickname is now Sally Clark. I shout up the stairs to her, Sally, and she replies going, Clark, and that's how I know she's home.
Does she feel good about that?
She loves it.
Okay, yeah. No, okay, well, Sally Clark, Notting Hill. Sounds good. Do you have a 5-star meal for a special occasion for a special boy?
Ooh. There's a place in Shepherd's Bush, White City, which is called Endo.
Yeah.
And
Rotunda.
Yeah.
Is that it? Endo at Rotunda?
Yeah.
Famously, possibly the most expensive Japanese restaurant in all of London.
But the reason being is it's the chef is pretty crazy. It's phenomenal. There's 12 seats, one at 6:30, one at 8:30. And it's omasaki, which I didn't realize this is that when the head chef they watch how you eat the sushi, and the way they eat the sushi is then how much they salt it or put soy on it or put rice on it. So they watch how you chew.
Yeah.
And so it's basically personalized to your actual way that you eat food.
And you're putting candy kittens on each
And
one.
I put candy canes at every single one, exactly.
Do you have a 5-star tube station?
5-star tube station. I'm going to go for Holland Park again.
The Holland Park tube station, not familiar with it myself.
Yeah, the reason why is because it's really not really a tube station, but it is. It has a lift as soon as you go in there. That's an old school vintage lift that you go down in. And I just spent my childhood there.
That's the Central Line, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Central Line.
Some of those stations are quite beautiful. They've got kind of nice tiling and things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of them also have the little kiosks that I'm so fond of. You know, the underground little shops. They are, I'd say, an endangered species.
I agree. And also the great thing about Holland Park tube station is because it's quite a wealthy area, not many people go on it. So it's always kind of quite free. And you get that weird thing when you come down a tube, that warm wind that blows on you.
Nice.
Do you know that one?
Apart from, weirdly, on the Northern Line, for some reason, there's loads and loads of platforms. Northern Line, where you get the opposite, you get a cold, chill wind.
Really?
I don't know why that is. There's like a sort of cold wind.
Like the sea when you have different hot and cold currents.
Yeah, maybe, or like The Exorcist, because the whole line is possessed by the devil.
That's what it more likely is.
Do you have a 5-star performance that you've seen in a London venue?
I saw Daniel Radcliffe in Equus.
Right.
And that wasn't a phenomenal performance. But I watched it, and the person behind me said, "Oh my God, it's Harry Potter naked," as he got naked in it. And I've never forgotten that. So that was a pretty outstanding performance in lots of ways.
Got to be the last thing he wants to hear.
I know. I know.
Yeah, and
while he's getting naked on stage.
He must hear it very quietly every single night
clapped,
as well.
And everyone clapped.
And everyone clapped. Do you have a 5-star city that's not London and also not New York?
Oh,
says New York.
I'm going to say Tokyo.
Okay.
Tokyo's amazing. I absolutely love Tokyo. Or I love Amsterdam.
Oh, yeah?
Amsterdam.
Big weed guy?
Huge weed guy. Massive on the red light district.
Yeah.
Why do I like it? I love that everyone's on bikes.
Yes.
The food there is phenomenal. It's
in Amsterdam?
Oh my God.
Ham and cheese?
No. If you pick good restaurants in Amsterdam, you are going to be blown away. Some of the top 100 restaurants in the world, lots of them are in Amsterdam. It's
really?
Crazy. Yeah, the food there is outrageous. It's outrageous. I went to a restaurant recently. It's not even that expensive. It's just so good. And the butter. Talk about bread and butter.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
So it sounds like we're saying Amsterdam, not Tokyo. Tokyo's the exotic choice because it's further away, but Amsterdam sounds like it's the one from the heart.
I could live in Amsterdam. 45-minute flight, lovely. People are amazing.
Nice canals.
Nice canals. It's beautiful. Quality of life is amazing. Yeah, I'd say Amsterdam.
That's a hell of a vote for Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for answering the questions, and also thank you very much for the wonderful trip around West London today.
Thank you for having me.
Did you have a nice time?
I did. More importantly, did you have a nice time?
I had a great time. You know, this isn't an area that I knew too much about.
Yeah.
So to be here in the company of someone that works here, you know, is quite cool. Really great hearing about your time on TV as well. It was very interesting.
Thank you so much.
I never really had an insight into that stuff before, so yeah.
Well, you can now go and listen to my podcast, Newlyweds.
Will do. Absolutely. Newlyweds. And then is there a third series at some point with a sort of once married? Or
Nearly Parents.
Nearly Parents, okay, yeah.
You know what's happening
that
there.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Well, no, thank you very much.
Thanks, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Well, that was Jamie Lang's Hammersmith. A great day out. There were fun conversations and there were more serious chats in there as well. And it was very nice of him to share some of that with me because it is very personal and, not everyone wants those sorts of thoughts out there. So, yeah, thanks very much to him. If you want to see him do his thing live, as he mentioned frequently, at the Hammersmith Apollo on the 24th of April, maybe the 25th as well, with his wife Sophie, doing his Newlyweds podcast live. And he threatened all sorts of special stunts and hijinks to make it worth your while if you do show up. He doesn't strike me as the sort of man that would make idle threats. So do go along to that if you can. And also, you can hear him pretty much every day now on Radio 1, the drive time slot, Going Home, where he'll be playing all the finest pop hits for you. And now I feel like because of that, he's slightly prepared for a disaster call. I've helped train him in the event of something like that. If you want to hear more from us, it's every Tuesday. It's Love Thy Neighbourhood, a wonderful podcast. I think you'll agree. I hope you agree. If you do agree, leave us a review and a 5-star rating, please. They all help. All that remains to say is love thyself and love thy neighbourhood. Cheerio. As any sports fan knows, a lot can happen in 4 minutes. A winning goal at the Emirates, a tide-turning comeback at a York Hall title fight is certainly enough time for my beloved QPR to take the lead and then flush it all down the toilet in another display of spineless mediocrity. And via Free Now, on average 4 minutes is also how long it takes to get a black cab. Who needs a 4-minute mile when you can jump in a 4-minute cab? Taxis and more at the tap of an app. Feel free now.